Skull friends, my name is Odin of Nevermore Gaming, as you guys know. This might look a little weird to you guys, but this isn't going to be a gaming video. Now, it's no surprise you guys have probably heard me rattle off about WWE programming in the past during Xander streams or even sometimes in my own videos. But I am a fan of WWE and professional wrestling, and off camera a lot, I rant to Xander about some of the later matches, like on Mondays, I'll even talk about like that night's Raw. Since last night was the 2023 Elimination Chamber, I thought I would rant to you guys and tell you this is how I would book it. Now, of course, this is our match card. I will be talking about all 5 of these matches. First up, the Men's Elimination Chamber match. Now, this is Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, Seth freaking Rollins, and Damian Priest. This match opening with Seth Rollins and Johnny Gargano, you can't really go wrong here. Seth Rollins is a main event wrestler, and with his freaking gimmick, he brings that sort of chaotic energy where you both want to root for him and against him from moment to moment. And Johnny Gargano is a great technical wrestler, so honestly, not much to say about that part of things. Having Austin Theory come in next, or as the third entrant, already is great because with his heel persona, you don't like him. And having him come in third puts a target on his back. You might even see the title change hands by default. If Seth and Gargano really want to force the title change here, they can absolutely team up and target him. Entry number 4 being Damian Priest. Once again, kind of increases the threat level for Austin Theory's title retention here, because Priest has already proven himself to be a credible threat with the Judgment Day, seemingly kind of stalking themselves around, especially considering that his team has already had their match a little bit earlier in the night. We'll get to that here soon. It's good the chamber was sealed. Entry number 5 was Bronson Reed, seemingly the monster character here. Bronson Reed would be a credible threat due to his size and agility, however, having just come back from being fired outside of kayfabe back in 2020, and the fact of before that he was down in NXT, I just don't see Bronson Reed being that much of a threat in the match. Same could honestly be said for the second entrant, Johnny Gargano, because they were both fired back in 2020, and Bronson Reed especially has not done anything on the main roster. I believe here he is just here to be the monster heel. Not even monster heel, the monster character. He's large, he's intimidating. That's all he really has going for him. Final entrant to this match was Montez Ford. He was my pick to win the match. Fans everywhere I look have been asking for Montez to win a singles title of some kind, and to genuinely give him a singles push away from his partner Angelo Dawkins. But much like with what the New Day does, they don't need to separate the Street Profits to give Montez a title. My personal thought here that Ford would have and should have won the title, but there was a few shaky spots here during the match that I believe stopped him, including when he fell from the top of the chamber. It looked like... Hold on, I'm sorry. Including when he fell from the top of the chamber onto Gargano, Rollins, and Theory. What happened there was honestly a great spot. It's what made me start rooting for him. But there was also the stomp from Rollins, because after that, when he was eliminated, it looked like he couldn't move. You could see on his face he was very wide-eyed, and like, he almost looked scared, like he genuinely could not move. Even if it is just kayfabe and just setting up Logan Paul versus Rollins at Mania, I think Ford should have personally won the titles, and I would have booked him to win it, having him pin either Rollins or Priest to win the US title. This is how I would have booked how the eliminations go. First eliminated, Bronson Reed. He's big, but he's not credible. He's not a threat to the title or anything. He's just big. So get him out early, even if you have to team up with some of your fellow opponents. Get him out early. Second eliminated, Johnny Gargano. Johnny Wrestling, he's good, which is why he's not the first eliminated. He's just not quite built himself up on the roster just yet. Third eliminated, Austin Theory. Plain and simple, he's the reigning champ, and that puts a target on his back. Force a title change, gang up on him. Fourth eliminated, Seth Rollins. Seth is already such a credible performer, and in all honesty, you could set it up like they did in the actual live event. Have there be interference from Logan Paul, still setting up for Paul versus Rollins at Mania. Logan Paul's third WrestleMania, might I add. Just have Paul either sneak in from underneath the ring, bursting up through it, or have him run in when Theory is let out of the cage. Or, even better if you wanted to, Theory gets thrown to the outside of the chamber through the plexiglass before getting pinned, creating a break in the cage Paul can sneak through, and creating a WTF moment for the crowd. Fifth eliminated, Damian Priest. Judgment Day needs to be a credible threat on the main roster, or they're just going to be a repeat of Retribution and they're going to flop. Have that building up for Mania by having Damian Priest be one of the last people in the chamber with Montez Ford. Even if he doesn't win, set up a rivalry between Priest and Ford with an upset here of some kind. Get that ball rolling for either a Judgment Day versus the Street Profits at Mania, or even a Priest versus Ford for the US title at Mania, with Balor and Dawkins in their respective corners. It continues to set up yet another storyline. Makes Priest look like a monster heel, and it still provides one of the better tag division performers with a title in Montez Ford. Once again, personally, I would book Montez Ford to win the match. Oopsies. There's a bit of a preview. Here we are. Match number 2. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. This match was plain and simple just shit. It was a card filler, and if you were watching at home, it's a bathroom break. You have two probably more dominant monsters in the WWE in both Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Instead of having it be a finisher match and just who's going to land more finishers, is it going to be the F5 or the spear? Let these men actually put on a match, put someone through the tables, or even do what you did years ago and pull a Big Show versus Mark Henry and collapse the ring. These two are two of the most destructive forces in the company, and it was a 5-minute match due to disqualification and incredibly disappointing. Let these two actually have a proper match and you have 5-star match potential. No more of this low blow finisher match bullshit. Next match, match number 3, Women's Elimination Chamber match. Carmella, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Liv Morgan, and Natalya. If I'm being honest with this match, there's not a whole lot I would change. It was probably my favorite match of the event, if I'm being completely honest. All the women performers looked dominant in their own ways, except for you, Carmella, even if it wasn't for a title. But here's what I would kind of do different here. Nikki Cross was eliminated first and even happened off screen at the event. Just don't. It doesn't make anybody look good and it takes away some of the focus on the match itself. Raquel is one of the newer people, so she suffers kind of from the same issue as Johnny Gargano and Reed. But having her last the match against the likes of Natalya and Asuka does add to her credibility, and I like that. Liv Morgan and Natalya opening up the match is great, between Natalya being our veteran superstar here, and Liv Morgan's ability to put on such a good match is great. Third participant coming into the match being Raquel Rodriguez is great in that she's in with people who have been on the main roster for quite some time now, and it can lead to her credibility if she makes it further in the match. Fourth participant being Nikki Cross adds the energy back into the match with some of the crazier spots she's able to do, like jumping off the pods onto everybody. Carmella being the fifth entrant isn't bad, but also makes it seem like she'd go further in the match when she's just not that credible. Through her tactic of hiding in the pods to protect herself, it's actually pretty good if she can capitalize on a sneaky pin. The last entrant being Asuka is great because she's going to have the energy store to take control away from anyone and everyone in the match and cap the match off. This is how I would personally book the eliminations. First eliminated, Carmella. She's just not anybody. She came back a couple years ago, disappeared for a while, and came back again. She's just another Charlotte Flair or even an interim champion. She's the person to take the pin. Second eliminated, Nikki Cross. With the energy Cross has with the gimmick, she's just crazy Nikki Cross. I think she would honestly end up getting either targeted and eliminated, or would just end up eliminating herself by running out of steam. Third eliminated, Natalya. While she was one of my picks to win the match, Natalya is an older performer at a surprising 40 years old. She's younger than Asuka by a year, but Natalya seems like she would end up running out of steam before the match was over. I don't see her actually credibly winning the match. Fourth eliminated, Raquel Rodriguez. Same reason why I put Reed and Gargano solo last time is why Raquel is fourth eliminated. She's still just too new on the main roster to have such a big push, but having her last longer than people like Natalya or Cross lends to her credibility. Fifth eliminated, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is a great performer, and I can't say anything bad about her. Going back to her Twisted Liv personality has been great for her ever since losing the championship, but I think she would just lose out to how fresh Asuka is. She just wouldn't have the energy after everyone to outlast her, and she would get overwhelmed. Simple as that. Plain and simple, the winner here is Asuka. This is what happened in the actual live event, and this is why I wouldn't really change too much of the booking on the match itself. Asuka being last in the chamber just gives her the energy source to outlast everybody and take the W. Plus, having her run Mania against Bianca Belair, I believe, lends credibility to both of them. They're both great performers and know how to put on a 5-star match. Match number 4, the mixed gender tag match: Edge and Beth Phoenix versus the Judgment Day, Balor and Ripley, accompanied by Dominic Mysterio. This is the other match I actually liked while watching the premium live event, but honestly, I would still change the finish for the simple fact of Edge and Beth don't need the win. Edge has been and always will be a credible main event superstar, and Beth just came back for this match. The spots the performers were in, like the stereo powerbomb from the women, and the double finishers coming from Edge and Phoenix, were awesome to see happen, and they're all great and working together. But the Judgment Day has a problem going for them right now. And it's not just Edge being there every step of the way like some Canadian god of war. They're slowly becoming a less and less credible threat. Their story with Edge is great, and I'm glad he won the match. He was my pick to win, and I will fully admit that. But Judgment Day should have won the match going into Mania. If they keep up this losing streak, then they're just going to be Retribution version 2. Especially considering Edge originally started this faction to get people like Priest and Balor back into the main event scene. They deserve to be there, and Judgment Day has the potential to be one of the most dominant factions in the WWE, even more than the Bloodline. This just wouldn't be how I would do it. Actual winner of this match was Edge and Beth Phoenix. However, this is how I would have booked things. After the dual executions, have Dominic pull Beth from the ring and three amigos her onto the steps while the official is distracted. Edge is stuck in the ring being the legal man, Beth is taken out, and while Edge is distracted, either a 1916 from Balor or even a Riptide from Ripley to end the match. It keeps Dominic's dirty tactics in heat while making Judgment Day win the match against Edge going to Mania, setting up Balor versus Edge at Mania. We already have Ripley versus Charlotte Flair at Mania, Dominic versus his dad at Mania. Each of the Judgment Day has a match at Mania, and as I mentioned earlier in this video, not that long ago, setting up a rivalry with Ford and Priest for the US title gives him a Mania match as well, meaning each of the members of Judgment Day has a match at Mania, which could potentially set them each up as a dominant force as both a team and a controlling force by themselves. Now comes this match. Let's be completely honest here, the WWE put themselves in a corner by making this match a thing. It should have either been a WrestleMania Backlash thing or even done some other way like with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Because we all know Sami Zayn isn't going to win the titles from Roman because of Cody Rhodes. But even though we all know that he is not going to win, having him lose in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, his hometown, we now run into the problem of heat shifting. A lot of the heat on Roman could turn into go-away heat onto Cody, because we all recognize that Cody Rhodes is the reason why Sami is not going to win the titles here. It's not his fault. He's not even in Canada. He's at home watching just like we all are, just like you and I are. And yet he's getting worse heat than a heel persona would, simply for being the Mania match. And being completely honest here, here's how I book the match. Sami Zayn performed just wonderfully, and I think the match should have ended after Sami kicked out from the interference from Jimmy Uso. Have Sami fight his way back to his feet and land one last spear onto Roman. Why the spear? Because it's Roman's move. Have him finally humble the tribal chief by him finally being the one to dethrone Roman. So we think. After the match, Paul Heyman interrupts, the wise man, because the contract wasn't for the undisputed Universal Heavyweight title. Official looks at the contract and we have our title split. Sami walks out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the new Universal Champion, and Roman still has the WWE title to fight Cody for at Mania. We have our title split. Montreal is happy that Sami Zayn wins. Sami Zayn gets a well-deserved title run after his storyline with Roman and the Bloodline, and Cody is still happy because he gets a WrestleMania moment with the one title his dad never got to win back in the day. Everybody's happy, including the WWE Universe. Personally, that's how I would have booked the 2023 Elimination Chamber. There were a few hit and misses here, if I'm being completely honest with all of you. Between Sami Zayn losing the match to Roman Reigns and just the absolute shit show that was the second match of Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. It was so bad that I really don't even have that much to say about it. It ended in a disqualification due to a low blow, and it was just all around incredibly disappointing. The women's match I liked, and the men's match I think they actually had to change live on air simply because I believe Montez Ford injured himself when he dropped from the top of the cage. Simple as that, really. I mean, every other match, I have to admit, the women's chamber match and the Edge and Beth match, I liked. I genuinely liked those matches. I just would have done them a little bit differently, is all. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on this. If I'm being. Hold on. Oops. Don't worry, guys. I know how to do this. Totally didn't just set this up right before the. right before this. If I'm being completely honest, thank you guys for listening to my thoughts. I plan on doing this a little bit more here going forward. In the comments below, tell me, guys, please, tell me what you guys think about Elimination Chamber. What would you guys do differently? Give me some of your guys' thoughts on the matter. Even if it was just, what matches you liked. I want to have a conversation with you guys. Thank you for listening to my surprisingly short little rant here. Um, Moving forward, I will be doing more of these. So I hope you guys look out for those. I'll be talking mainly about the premium live events, not so much the regular Monday night and Friday night wrestle shows, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, but I will be referencing them for the storylines at the very least, as well as referencing some of the other premium live events, like the Money in the Bank. The next pay-per-view that I will be talking about, the next premium live event that I'll be talking about, is going to actually be, what do you know? It's actually going to end up being NXT Roadblock 2023. Now, I will fully admit, I don't know too much about the NXT superstars. My focus has mainly been on the main roster. But I will definitely try and provide you guys my thoughts on the NXT stars and how those ones go as well, because the NXT shows are still premium live events. NXT still matters. Thank you guys again for listening to my little talk here. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, in the comments below, let me know what you guys thought. Let's have a conversation. My name is Once again, my name is Odin of Nevermore Gaming. Excuse me. And yeah, thank you all for listening.